We're losing! Teamwork, guys, more teamwork. They're burying us alive!
Well, shit.
Jeez Louise.
Honey, don't you want to beat those bastards? In my book, we're gonna be winners.
Listen, I ain't got nothing left inside, because you're training like a damn bum, you know that?
Screw them.
What are you doing? What are people doing?
Is this early access to?
Hey, let me tell you something, bro.
Get out there now and do the best you can.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 17 of the Bad Fodder Figures podcast. This is Captain Mike M., joined by Eric and Matthew tonight. What's up, gentlemen?
Yo.
What's up, man?
So no matter what goes on during the week, we can always count on these 90 minutes being exciting. I think I said on Twitter the other day, we got some ball busting, some camaraderie, a little bit of news here and there, and definitely some terrible topics. So looking forward to discussing all of those tonight. Jeremy couldn't be here. If you remember last week, he said that he gets 4 dates a year, 1 per quarter. And this is just rumor. I really don't want to, go out on a limb and speculate, but, the date last night was very, very hot, and he just couldn't peel himself off the mattress today. So he said, guys, go on. I really need to take some rest tonight. And so that's where we're at. We're a trio tonight. We're a power trio. We're like Rush or Motorhead.
Well, that's what's up. We here in spirit. Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And before we go on, I want to apologize to Matt over here. Last week in the intro, I sort of fumbled my words, and I didn't know the exact phrase I was looking for. I wanted to call you the great prognosticator and not procrastinator. So I apologize for that, because you do predict things. So Matt, do you have your wizard hat on right now? I know you like to wear that on occasion.
I do have my wizard hat on. I wear it a lot, so I can be able to predict stuff in that. So, yes, okay, it is on.
The great prognosticator is here. Matthew, if you need to bring out your crystal ball as well, that's fine, too. Give us a hot prediction, a hot take.
I predict that tomorrow will be difficult for me to travel to work.
Really? On a holiday?
Yes. On a holiday, yes.
Why is that?
The Ohio River is rising, fellas.
6 feet high and rising.
It is.
How high is the water, Mama?
It is at 50-some feet right now. 53 feet, I think. It's going to crest like 55, 56 feet. And when it gets above 52, some of the roadways that head in the work that I take flood. So I'll have to find routes.
I'm about to say, stay home, then.
I wish I could. Tomorrow's free lunch day, though. I don't want to miss out on our free lunch.
Oh, brother. Now, your work doesn't give you these holidays off, huh? Not even President's Day, huh?
No, I mean, most private businesses, they don't have off on these days. Yeah.
What's a holiday at my work? It's a holiday at my wife's work.
I don't get off either, but,
tomorrow's my normal day off, but guess what? I get paid for it now because it's a holiday. I mean, it's a work holiday for my company.
There you go.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
No, the kids are off school tomorrow and everything, but yeah.
Hey, Matt, since you're the great prognosticator, whatever.
What else can I?
Prognosticator. It's a difficult word to say. Let's try it. Let's try it all together. Ready? Prognosticator.
There you go.
See how you can easily slide into I can't even say the other one now. Procrastinator. Yeah. See, it's very difficult.
Can we make this easy and just say predictor? The great predictor?
Okay, well,
let's
give me
close
some
to
lotto
dictator.
numbers.
Some lotto numbers.
Yeah, give me some lotto numbers.
Oh,
that's
okay.
all I need.
I'm seeing a 13.
Okay.
I'm seeing a 21. 5. A 48. 34.
How many do we need?
How many numbers is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, now you need the big one.
Yeah, you need the Powerball. Give me the Powerball.
69.
Boom.
Does the Powerball go that high or no?
I don't know.
No.
Oh.
No.
Is it 1 through? Is it 1 through 9?
I think it's like 1 through 20. Something. I don't know.
17.
Okay. All right. No. 17's a bad number. No. 11.
Boom. All right. So when I hit, everybody's getting paid, boys.
No, we got to write. We have official record now. You know, some people like when they do that at work and they don't draft up any sort of like documentation. You know what I mean? So we have official. At least we said we're getting paid. That doesn't mean he has to split it 3 ways. It just means we're getting paid. It could be $1.
I'm all about. Hey, I'm all about splitting. I'm all about making everybody's life better. Whatever.
Nice. So he just said 3 ways. Everybody heard it.
3 ways.
Ooh, 3 ways with Eric.
Even.
Easy. So Eric, speaking of 3 ways, you're at work right now or at home?
Yeah, I'm at work. Yes, sir. I'm at work.
At work. Nice. And we heard that there was
I was just in there watching Naked and Afraid. But go ahead. What do you say?
Naked and Afraid. I don't even know what that is, but I'm intrigued. I'm a little aroused.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You never heard of that, huh?
I never heard of it. What is it?
They put these people out in the woods and they.
I know what you're talking about
naked.
now. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just watching that. They're having a Naked and Afraid marathon right now.
I just saw something on. I don't know where the hell I was. I didn't see it on TV. I saw it somewhere, but someone who like won like one of the early survivors or something. She just got like they found her passed out in her car or something like that, and she came through and bit a police officer when she woke up. And, or like their passenger had all sorts of like syringes on the floor and shit. So,
Oh, wow.
They
Money is the
woke her
root
up
of all
and
evil, bro.
They woke her up and she bit the police officer.
That ain't
Jeez,
smart.
Pete.
Gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So what's going on at work, Eric? Anything out of the ordinary? New vehicle, I heard.
Oh yeah, man. We get new cars all the time. I don't know why, but we get them and they're cool.
Now what happens? So
I sent the pictures to Matt. I'm like,
Yeah, he does. He sent me a video of this latest car. It's a white
we got
Dodge
this
Charger.
It's a Dodge Charger. I got this Charger. Well, it's not mine. I got a Tahoe, but the dude let me drive his Charger. Man, that thing is awesome.
So Eric actually sent me a video. Put all the lights on.
I put all
Turned all the
the
lights
lights
on for it, and he
it's,
walked around the car.
It's like an undercover car too. You know, it has lights and shit all in the grill and all that stuff. It's not like no like stripes or anything. No, it's not striped up or anything.
So when you get a new car, does another car go away, or they just keep adding to the allotment?
Well, they have their like shelf life. It seems like I get a new car every couple months though, but they take the old ones and we get the new ones. And I just got this.
Who's that?
2018. Well,
The repo
government.
man.
I just got this 2018 Tahoe. Let me tell you, that thing is nice, man.
Oh, man.
I'm talking about it's loaded too. It's got all the bells, all the Bluetooth crap. I don't know why I need that, but
I'll tell you, some weekend when I get nothing to do, I'm going to go to a flight down to D.C., and I'm just going to go on the ride. I'm just going to sit in that car.
Yeah, ride along, man.
It's too cool.
Yeah,
it's too cool.
ride along. This is what we need.
So, we didn't have an election last week, but I did delegate some roles. And Eric, I'm still looking for a role for you. Maybe, I don't want to stereotype you, but maybe because you are a police officer, you can be, head of security for the podcast.
I mean, that's easy, but you can also give me something else because that's what I do every day. So give me something else.
I'm thinking of something else. We'll come up with it. It will hit me at some point. But Matt has been deemed the secretary of the podcast. And,
do you want to say secretary or treasurer?
Jeremy's treasurer.
Jeremy's treasurer.
Oh, Jeremy's the treasurer. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting something, maybe, I'll come up with something else. But right now, you're security, maybe / see, now I'm going to stumble on my words again. I'm going to have to apologize to you next week. But what's that like the Dr. Ruth of the podcast? Was that like a sex
therapist.
Love expert? What would that be called?
A sex therapist?
Yeah, but we want to fancy that up a little bit more. That sounds a little too clinical.
Too clinical, too raw. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there, Eric. Don't worry. So Matt has been, again, no elections. I just said, boom, I rubber stamped it and said he's the secretary. So the floor is yours, Matt. We are going to have a scavenger hunt. And
yes.
So podcast secretary, why don't you tell people what this scavenger hunt is going to be?
So what we're going to do is, over the next 3 or 4 shows, we're going to have a little scavenger hunt type of thing. to where you need to listen along, and at some point at the end of the show, we will say, we'll ask a question, and you have to email us the answer to that question. And after 4 shows, we'll get all the answers from everybody in that, and we will choose a winner at some point after that.
So it's...
What are they going to win, Jim?
yeah.
Well, right now we have a PUBG code.
For Xbox One.
For Xbox One. And we'll probably add in some game cards and maybe a full game.
It's going to be a spicy package. It's going to be
a spicy package.
Now, Are we going to have people actually email every week, or they just need to be listening? I'm trying to remember. I haven't done one of these scavenger podcast things before, so maybe there is already an established format. Is it, if we asked all the questions at the end of 3 to 4 weeks, is it too much for them to remember that far back? That's why we need to have them email every week?
I think they would email at the end of the contest.
At the end of the contest.
Yeah, I think that'd make it easier on us, actually.
All right.
So, so yeah, at the end of the contest, we would, maybe that last show, we would repeat the 4 questions and what episode they were on.
Right.
And then people would have to email us those answers.
So as Matt is the secretary, as we go along over these next 4 weeks, he's going to be writing the question down. So he's going to be in charge. I won't know what the questions are. But let me give you a little... sort of, I'd say, what would you say, a little example. So maybe the question could be, Mike didn't mean to call Matt a procrastinator. He actually called him a prognosticator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
It'll be something like that. And it's something that we'll announce at the end of the show. Like, hey, by the way.
Yeah.
What's the make and model of Eric's new truck?
Could be. You got to
be something like that.
Got to be writing these clues down. So it's not just going to be, like one game code. It's going to be something you want to invest your time in.
We'll make that worthwhile.
Yeah, it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
I would say.
So what's not dope is the things that went on this week. And, I definitely do not want to talk gun control again because we've gone down that road, whether it's been on the 40 cast or some of our earlier episodes here. I don't want to rehash that. But it's too bad Jeremy's not here because he has young kids as well.
Yeah.
But Eric, I appreciate your insight because you're a dad and you're also a police officer. But I'm curious if any of us have had discussion with our own children about these incidents and what they should do at school. And I think the genesis of me asking this question is I saw someone on Twitter the other day, I don't remember who it was, and they said that their child came home from school and said they wanted new shoes. And the dad was thinking, something wrong with your shoes, someone making fun of them. And the child says, no, my shoes light up and it makes it easier for the shooter to see me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So,
see, man, I'm so sad inside, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so sad, man. I just...
your kids are, 15 and 9, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you had any discussions or plan on having any discussions? And if so, are you taking it more of a this is why people do it approach, or are you saying this is what you should do? I don't even know if I know what they should do at this point, but have you had any discussions? We'll start from there.
It's more of the what people should do, what the kids should do when something like that goes on. Obviously, listen to the teacher and someone in charge what they're saying to do. But if they're like in the cafeteria or library or gym or something like that, where there's not one teacher or something like that, it's just tell them to run, get the hell away from where you can go. And we'll deal with it later if you get in trouble or something like that. But just stuff like that. Hold books in front of your chest and stuff like that to help block a bullet coming from you. Flip a desk over, hide behind a desk.
So these are discussions you've had with both your youngest and oldest, or just the oldest, or
with both? Yeah,
with both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also too, both schools that they're in have they do this Alice training. Alice, something like that. Eric, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's something about it's related on school shootings. And what they do drills and stuff. They do training and stuff like that, where they block a door. They turn lights off in the room. They go hide different places and stuff like that. So it's going to be as common as a tornado drill or fire drill.
But what I've noticed, what all that training is though, and I'm not saying every time, but a lot of that stuff goes out the window.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's good, I guess, to train to have some kind of mindset. But when stuff is popping off, it's fight or flight, man. Everybody runs. Everybody,
right?
And it's hard to get your body conditioned to calm down and do those things that you learned.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, bring it back to video games. It's like before we get into Fortnite, all right, V formation. Everybody do this. Everybody got their guns loaded. Everybody blah blah blah. And then one shot goes off. Everybody's running like scattering like flies. You know?
Yeah. And then the visual of like, okay, you got your little kids and these little kids, but like say, I saw some video where they had to go down the hallway and it was dead bodies, and it wasn't a game. It wasn't a Walking Dead. These are dead people, bro. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I mean, there's the immediate of getting out of there and being safe.
Exactly.
But then there's the scars for the rest of their life.
You can't practice
unsee that. You can't unsee that.
And you can't practice for that. Hey,
yeah, you see a dead body, you freeze, you lock up.
Exactly. How many people in our listening audience have seen a dead body, and it's like a traumatic dead body? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not something that's been made up at the funeral home.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's not that easy.
So I haven't had these conversations, and I asked my wife if the kids have said anything and if they had any training, but I haven't. I sort of wanted to do some research before I just said, hey, you know what's going on here, you guys, I don't want to put them on edge, you know what I mean?
I was more interested in talking to you guys because I don't have kids in this situation. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wanted to know, what do you do? What do you do?
I haven't done anything yet. That's the honest truth. Maybe my wife has, often at night, at night I'm working, so she, when those things happen during the day, she talks to them usually, and by the time I'm done with work, they're already in bed. So, but this is school vacation week, so it's a good week to talk to them a little bit about that type of stuff. And I think what Matt did is probably the best. Give them some sort of advice and not really explain why it happens. Because the worst thing I think you can say, well, maybe someone's got something. They've had a bad day, they got some mental illness or whatever, and then all of a sudden they start looking people, a little squirrely and go, is this guy going to be the next shooter? And you don't want that paranoia to set in, or you don't want them to bully someone because, someone's having a bad day or it's just an awkward child or whatever.
But then I guess my question to you guys, can you deliver this message to the same, because you guys have kids of varying ages. Can you deliver that one message, or do you have to talk to them individually, or how would they receive it? I mean, you guys know your kids.
I think in my situation, like Matt, I could deliver to my two oldest, and I think my oldest are similar of age, like Matt's. Like mine are 12 and 9. Matt's 15 and 9, we'll say. Or my younger, the 4-year-old, no idea.
Right.
I could be telling him, like that, and he'll have no idea what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the same. Or I think Noah, and more Noah than Christopher, knows more why some people do it, because they're shitheads and there's something wrong with them and stuff like that. And they stress a lot of times at the school that if you see someone with odd behaviors or talking or something like that about this type of stuff, is you need to say something. It's because a lot of stuff just goes unpassed. You need to say something. Tell someone that, hey, this guy's not acting right. He's saying this type of stuff and that.
But they said something, though. That's the thing. People said something.
I mean, that is like, I don't know. I mean, I went to a small high school, right? I went to a Catholic high school. So we're talking, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, maybe 250 to 350 kids total in my school. But if you're like in a major, like, city, like around here, whether it's Boston High or Brockton High, I mean, there's like, I don't know, there's 5,000 kids.
Yeah, that's kind of school I went to.
Someone's out. I mean, if you have 5,000 kids, what's the percentage of people there that are having a bad day, acting out, had a poor childhood, and they don't know how to behave properly? I mean, how many people are you going to be reporting at the end of the day? It's got.
And then as a cop, we that's just too much, bro.
Right.
We get so much stuff in a day. I mean, I'm talking about school shooting. Well, talking about this person wants to do this. This person wants to blow up. I mean, inundated, bro. Did you hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Constantly. And sure, they can look at, but you only got so many cops that can work in a day.
Right.
You can't check everything 100%. I mean, we're working towards that, but man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Matt, is there a police officer stationed all day at either one of your children's schools?
Yeah, the
Resource officer.
The resource officers, yeah, and then the new high school. We just got a brand new high school open up this past year, and I think there's 1,700 to 2,000 kids there, and they have two police officers at that school. They actually have a little police office station, I guess you could say, inside the school. They got
Now,
two full-time officers there.
Is that new because of school shootings, or have they always been police officers? I didn't go to any public schools, so I went to K through 12.
We always had resource.
Was that?
We always had resource officers.
Yeah, same thing here. Mainly to help with fights and stuff like that.
So, but when you say resource officer, you mean that they are a police officer of the city?
Yeah, they're
right?
a cop. They're
Mm-hmm.
actually a cop.
Yeah.
That's just their duty for the day. Their posts.
Yeah. Some of them will do that DARE, the drug learning program and stuff like that. While they're there, do little seminars and classes on that. Keep kids off drugs and stuff like that. And some are just there to maintain the peace in the freaking school.
Right. That's got to be a tough job if there's one. Think about 2 police officers for about 2,000 kids.
A lot of
a major
just
fight
visual.
breaks out. He or she is not doing much.
It's just visual though. A lot of it, people are intimidated by the presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then you got other people that are not intimidated and they have the other opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
To rebel. Rebel. And, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so not an easy topic. Certainly, I don't think it's something that's going away.
Unfortunately.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to go down this road, but I don't think anybody is like using stolen guns to do this type of stuff.
No, he got his gun the legal way.
Right.
I just need something to be fixed, and I don't know what, because I'm in the middle. I'm like, I'm a cop, and these are the things that I have to use, but I don't shoot people every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then we go with the auto AR-15. No, that's not necessary. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, I think starts at home, right? Got to give your kids a loving home. You got to teach them right from wrong, and you got to talk to them about it. Unfortunately, I got to tell you, I'm 42. You guys are a little older than me. Wasn't even the worst we thought about was us walking home fighting the public school kids and having a rock fight. That was about as crazy as we got.
Yeah. Especially going to a Catholic school like that, man. We had to go past the public school on the way home when we walked home, and that it's like, man, those kids were all a bunch of thugs and stuff because they didn't have their religion and shit in them, so they were a bunch of thugs and stuff going after us all the time. It sucked. Going up in grade school now, I didn't worry about any of this shit.
But I think kids are growing up now desensitized, man.
Well, that's a great segue because, Matt, are you familiar? I know because you are in the Cincinnati area, and Kentucky is your neighbors. Are you familiar with Mr. Governor Matt Bevin of Kentucky?
Yes, he took away health care for the public employees there too.
Okay, so he's not a popular guy.
Somehow he got elected, but he's not with the common people. He's not that popular.
So he's a GOP. He's a Republican. I just want to read his quote first. He blamed the killings in Florida not on guns, but on a culture of death that is being celebrated. He says there are video games that, yes, are listed for mature audiences, but kids play them, and everybody knows it, and there's nothing to prevent the child from playing them. They celebrate the slaughtering of people. There are games that literally replicate and give people the ability to score points for doing the very same thing that these students are doing inside the schools, where you get extra points for finishing someone off who's lying there begging for their life. He goes on to say these are quote-unquote video games, and they're forced down our throats under the guise of protected speech. It's garbage. It's the same as pornography. They have desensitized people to the value of human life, to the dignity of woman, to the dignity of human decency. So that's a lot to take in there. He doesn't sound uneducated. He doesn't sound like he's just flying off the handle. He seems like it's a well thought out and crafted statement, and it's a statement that I can't 100% disagree with. Right? We definitely do in all our movies and video games. There's a lot of killing going on, but at the same time, as someone who I feel is somewhat have a good head on my shoulders and educated, I can tell the difference between fiction and nonfiction, right? I can tell what's a video game and what's not a video game, and I know right from wrong. But I guess there's people out there that don't. I have a hard time seeing that it's video games that's causing this. Do you guys have a take on that? And just address Governor Bevin.
Well, I know that MLB The Show hasn't made me a better baseball player, so yeah.
And my thing is, you got to blame something.
Because no one can put a finger on why something so horrific would happen. So there's always the blame game. Well, it's the guns, it's the lack of guns, it's the mental health, or no one's checking his mental health, or he didn't get the right help. The FBI didn't follow up with them. The video games, everybody's looking for the answer.
It could be a culmination of all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to me, to just reading his backstory, he's an orphan. Both his parents just recently died. He was expelled from the school. He wasn't happy about it. He was going back to seek some sort of revenge. Sort of it in a nutshell.
And they'll probably go to his house and find that he has a PlayStation 4. And they'll say, well, there it is. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Somewhere along the line, the value of life has been degraded somewhere. And where and why and how.
The internet, I'm sure.
Well, I always say, too, because I live in a dynamic situation where I live at, right? And it's hilarious to me. I always say to my kids, because, I got white kids and black kids, right? And mixed all in between, right?
Right.
I always tell them, I say, the reason why this stuff is kind of the way it is, because when you leave this house, you have no consequences. People don't get in trouble anymore. And I tell my kids that. Like, I had my stepson, he's my son, but he did some stuff, right? And nothing really happened. Now, I know if I'd have done that, some stuff would have happened. You know what I'm saying? And I tell him all the time, I was like, you have no consequence. You've grown up with no consequences in your life.
And when you mean that, you mean at home, not like the law?
Home and law.
Okay.
They don't get in trouble anymore. You might get a community service where you got to pick up some trash for an hour. What is that, bro?
You're talking like, so if someone was drunk driving or someone stole something or something like that.
Yeah. There's no consequence. It's just whatever.
Right. But there's eventually, if you go completely off the deep end, there's consequences. If you really push the envelope.
you got to go really off the deep end, is what I'm saying. Because this kid has done all kinds of stuff, and he just doesn't get in trouble.
So there's you got to take it to maybe a physical level of certainly killing, right? Vehicular manslaughter or something like that. Yeah,
but you come back again. They give you your license back again. You just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm like, whatever, dude.
Well, it's certainly not easy discussions. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah.
Well, I just have a problem with his statement. They're forced down our throats under the guise of protected speech. Did someone force you to buy Call of Duty, Mike? Eric, did someone force you to buy Overwatch?
No, I think what he's saying is that they can't do anything to block it because it's the other side of the coin says, well, this is freedom of speech. He's not saying force to buy it. He's just saying they would his side of the aisle, right, would like to block a lot of the stuff and not make it available to us. And therefore, it's forced upon us because freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I can say AR-15s are forced upon me because of whatever amendment that is.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
Now, do we ever go? Because I know this is one item that people like to do. You like to look at other countries. Like they said, Australia had 4 killings in last year or something like that. And how do they do the gun? Do we have? But we can't change it because of our Constitution.
I mean,
right?
England, you
right.
can't. In England, you can't have guns.
Right.
I mean, England, you
No,
can't
the
even
con-
have. You can't even have pit bulls in England.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, the Constitution can be amended and changed. Otherwise, women wouldn't still be able to vote, and there'd still be slavery and stuff. So it
And I
can
still be picking cotton. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's because there's too much money. It's those companies back their politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we don't want to make this political. It's more about I know there's dads listening to us, there's mothers, uncles, brothers, whoever listens to us. They're all around kids, and I guess at some point, and clearly, like I said, I haven't, so I'll readily admit that, but need to discuss that at some point. And just curious, wanted to pick your guys' brain of, have you and what have you done, and so now I've understood that you've more about the safety and not why it's happening. Do you feel, Matt, that you'll ever say why? I mean, you said your oldest knows why because, he's getting mature and stuff like that. But has your youngest ever said to you, hey, Dad, why does this happen? Why are people like this? Or
No, not really. I can't recall that. Maybe to Barb or something. If Barbara said something to him, but not to me. No, he hasn't. Yeah. He hasn't said anything like that. I'd have to ask Barb see if he asked her.
Yeah. Now, Eric, in the law enforcement, you guys. Maybe not you guys so much. Maybe it's more like town. Do they go out and try to educate people about this? Safety. Do they try to do conducts? Like you said,
town halls and all that stuff. Yeah, even we do too. And see something, say something, all that stuff. But like a lot of times at like a school, you got this whole thing about I don't want to be a snitch.
Snitches get stitches.
But you be dead. How about that? I don't know. It's you can talk to people till you blow in the face, and then somebody will say, "Well, I said something," and nothing happened. It's a slippery slope, bro.
It is. It is. Well, thank you guys for talking about it. I know it's a difficult conversation. We're going to change things up on the podcast and try to rearrange some of the segments to get a little better flow. So we're going to actually, in this intro, sometimes we talk news, and we're just going to carry that over now and actually talk some gaming news. So 1 second.
Really? Okay, do you hear what he just said? He just said, why don't you, for once in your life, just do the fucking news? All right, no. I'm going to do the fucking news. No, here is the fucking news.
All right. It would not be a BFF podcast without some Fortnite news. Matt and I have been playing a lot of the PvE, which we'll get to later on. But the Lunar New Year, does anybody know what that is? Lunar New Year?
It's an Asian thing, isn't it? Chinese New Year type of
Chinese New Year,
It's the year of the dog, right?
Woof, woof, woof.
Oh, who let the dogs out?
So, of course, Fortnite, the ever topical game, has released a lot of Lunar New Year themed items and Valentine's Day items that you can get. So these items range from what we got here. We got some swords, we got some guns that a lot of the stuff you can only use in the PvE stuff. But some of the stuff is over in the PvP, the uniforms and things like that. One new thing they also have is these shrines. Have you come across these in the PvP yet, Matt or Eric?
I have not in the PvP.
Not at all.
Treasure-filled thematic shrines. So they look like these. Bounty was calling them something last night when I was playing with them. But they're these, Asian-looking buildings that you would typically see. And like you said, there's a lot of treasures there and stuff like that. There's also impulse grenades. Have you guys seen any maybe animated GIFs or videos on these?
No, what do they do?
So you throw the grenade, and on impact, it so if there's three guys in front of you, it might not kill them. It shoots them up in the air, though. You know what I mean? So, you throw the boogie bomb, and the guy starts dancing, right? You throw this, and it lands at their feet, and they get, jump. It's almost like a jump pad, right? They get shot off to the side. And maybe if they're low on health, it will kill them as well, or the impact when they land and stuff like that will kill them. But,
oh, nice.
pretty cool. I actually saw someone the other day doing a rocket ride on one of the rocket launchers and then threw a impulse grenade at the end to win. So
Wow.
people are getting very creative, and Fortnite, I guess, has officially leapfrogged PUBG. It's the second most played game, I think, on Twitch right now. PUBG has taken a little bit of a hit. Players are not happy with that new map, and I think they're also unhappy with some of the adjustments they made or lack of adjustments that they've made, and cheaters and things like that. So Fortnite is definitely taking advantage of that and capitalizing it. Also this week, they have put the base SMG into the vault, which means it's no longer available. You can still use the tactical SMG and the silenced SMG, but the base one has been put in the vault for now. If that was your weapon of choice, you're SOL.
Damn.
Sort of like my life. Now, this next one is for the veterans gamers who always listen, and thank them for their support. Starting with Season 3 of Rainbow Six, all attachments will now be unlocked. Gentlemen, this weekend was actually a free weekend for Rainbow Six. And the more and more I read about this game, and the more people like, I and Hale and Mafia and Maverick and those guys want me to get into this game, I'm going to have to cave. I already bought the game. That doesn't mean anything, though. I have so many games that I bought and I don't play. But I'm actually going to have to play this one here because it really sounds like Ubisoft is putting a lot of care into this with Season 3. They got a bunch of new characters coming out, and I don't want to really mention these characters because it would just be reading back to you. I don't know enough about the characters, but what I can tell you is that all attachments now are going to be unlocked and available, which I guess might cause some problems because some people actually had to pay for these. So they haven't come out yet and said if there's going to be a refund or anything like that. But going forward, I think maybe to make it easier for players to get into the game, all optics, grips, suppressors, muzzle brakes, and so on will be completely unlocked at the outset of the game for everyone, including owners of Siege Starter Edition. They're saying this change will certainly help new players jump into Siege more quickly, as the grind to earn renown in-game currency can force tough decisions about whether to save for operators, skins, or crucial weapon attachments. So now you don't have to worry about that. So
I'm hearing a lot about Rainbow Six. Did it get like a reboot or something? Because it's been out a while. Did
Season
it get like
3. It's Season 3, and they got this. They got this. New The Outbreak coming out, which is part of some larger update. I saw that on YouTube. Right.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to dive into this, gentlemen. That's all there is to it. It should make for some fun. So enough is enough. We all got to step up now and start playing this. I got to give it to Ubisoft. We're gonna have another Ubisoft topic here in just a minute. But man, are they supporting their games? You think about Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, The Division, and in a little bit here we're going to have a story on For Honor. They are supporting these games for a good lengthy amount of time after release. So
yeah,
good on Ubisoft. This last thing I wanted to talk about with Rainbow Six, there's this mode that they're calling Pick and Ban. So it's not picking your nose, Matt. It's pick and ban. So let me tell you about this mode. It's going to allow each team to ban their opponents from choosing 2 operators of their choice for the entire match. Now, I'm not sure how many operators there are. Let's just say there's 20, 25. So you cannot pick 2 operators. The catch, though, is that your team is also banned from choosing those 2 operators for the match as well. And you cannot pick the 2 opponents that the 2 operators that your opponents picked as well. So that means there's like 4 of them knocked out right away. So
wow.
Yeah. Lineups will be revealed to all players at the start of each round. However, you'll then have the chance to repick one operator without the enemy seeing. They'll all have to identify that player in the usual ways using drones and cameras. Finally, Pick and Ban will allow you to choose your spawn point before you choose your operator rather than afterwards. and they're hoping that this mode, right now they're saying it's temporary, it's only available in custom games, but they're hoping it's going to catch on, and maybe they'll even roll it out to the pro leagues.
So, no, the only time I played R6 was at the time when I, and
Right.
Jeremy played in that free weekend or whatever it was. So, I'm guessing that this makes it so that not everyone on one team could be like stealthy, or not everyone could have explosives or something like that. That's kind of what it's doing, trying to help even the sides or something.
Exactly. Yep. I would think so. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. We should dive into it and try.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we keep getting yelled at on the
Yes.
Discord about that.
Those guys listen to us, so we should throw them a bone and start playing.
Yeah, we should.
This is our Mia culpa episode.
Yeah.
All right, we were just talking about For Honor, and what's coming to them is finally dedicated servers a year later, which a lot of people have been clamoring for, and I guess that's going to help things out a lot. But they got this new mode now, I guess, which has really been requested. It's called 2v1, and it's the official name is Test Your Metal. So if you've played the campaign of For Honor, you know there's bosses at the end of each level that you have to play, and in this Test Your Metal mode, it will allow, let's say me and Eric own the game, me and Eric could go in 2v1 against this boss, and so it's a way not to play against other people. You can play in co-op mode, and you can test your skills against one of these bosses.
That's cool.
So people, I'm gonna have to dust off my copy of For Honor as well. Part of the
I'm just
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you and Jeremy both bought this game, and I don't think either one of you have played it since it came out, have you?
Well, we're going to talk about that. Jeremy traded his in. I was playing mine like hotcakes, and what happened? The incident.
the event happened.
Oh,
The incident. The incident happened, and I lost all my progress. So maybe I'll start streaming that, because I really did enjoy the campaign.
Well, you should.
Yeah. And the last bit of news I have here, it's not really taken from an article. This was a tweet by Major Nelson. This is for all you Xbox heads. Now on your iOS or Android mobile device, you can use your device to start, join, and chat with voice and text in an Xbox Live party. So if Matt and Eric are in a party, we're about to roll out on the sea of thieves, and I got to pinch a loaf real quick. I can pull up my phone, right? And I can join the party and say, "Gentlemen, I'm pushing out a hot cucumber. I'll be there in just a minute."
Oh no! Wow!
There's a imagery, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise known as a T-spike.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well, gentlemen, that's all the news items this week. It was a rather slow news week. I'm sure things will be picking up a little bit. So let's move over in what we've been playing. Eric, let's hear what you've been up to.
I've been up to the same old, man. Nothing. I'm just waiting on that God of War to come out. So I remember I wasn't on that one show. You ever talk about pre-ordering? Yeah, I straight up bought God of War. Got that. But I've been playing my Overwatch.
Oh, it's been an Overwatch free weekend, right? Mm-hmm. It's funny. I don't know what happened first, Overwatch free weekend or Rainbow Six free weekend. I don't know who announced first, but I suspect some nefarious activity there, right?
Yeah, probably. But Overwatch is great. Man, I wish people played that.
Well, what I want to talk to you about is I've been watching some of my streaming buddies, Chewy and Bounty, play it. I've been watching some other people play it as well. And what I didn't like about the Overwatch when I played it, remember when it first came out, there was only one mode, right? You had to escort that stupid thing up and down the map.
Yeah, you still do that, yeah.
Yeah, that was I just didn't like that mode. I think that's the only thing it came with. If I can remember correctly, I think that was the only one. But now when I was watching other people play, it wasn't necessarily like team deathmatch, and that might be in there, but it was more like hardpoint in COD. Right, but except it looked like the point didn't move. So
yeah, we got that too. Yeah, you got that too. So all of those things it's random. Which whatever it is, you like say if you go into a quick match, it just picks. If you want to hold the point, you got to escort.
if I'm going to pay $60 for a game.
Oh, you can pick. You can go into play. You know, if you just want to do that one where you hold the point, you can just do that also.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. As long as I understand, like in COD, they have what they call the mosh pit, which is fine if that's that's how I want to roll. But also, I feel if I bought the game, I should be able to get into any mode I want. So that's good to hear.
Oh yeah.
But I guess my larger point there was it was good to see. Not that I'm saying I'm going to go out and buy the game tomorrow, maybe Tuesday.
Right.
Is that there wasn't just the escort mission anymore. It actually looked kind of fun when it was just like the hard point or team deathmatch type stuff.
And I think the draw for me is each character has their own abilities. You got a character that can fly. You got one just big brute type dude. You know, all of them are different. But they're unique. They all have special abilities, and it's so cool. And it's hard to master each character because there's so many. Because they keep adding characters and adding boards and locations. Man, it's pretty dope.
Now I heard the guys on Twitch saying that the button mapping, the keyboard mapping, is not. I guess as it is for other games. So you were used to tapping a certain mouse button to look down sights to shoot, and for them it's in Overwatch it's not the same. They said they were getting a little fatigued playing Overwatch with the keyboard and mouse because there's so many different mouse presses or different keyboard presses. But us console plebs, we don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah, not at all. It's good to go.
Any weird configurations though on the Overwatch that sort of bucks the trend of traditional shooters?
Yeah, they got some special setups for if you have that Xbox, because I play mine on Xbox. If you have the Xbox, the little Pro controller thing, the paddles and all that stuff. I just can't get it. I'm like the generic dude. I just want to play it, like it comes. I don't need all that. Yeah. I'm just playing like that. But yeah, you can tweak it all kinds of ways, man. It's good game, man.
So you've been playing a lot of Overwatch. What's your go-to character?
Soldier 76. That's my man.
That's your man.
That's my dude.
I can see that. I've seen that dude watching him, and I can see him being you.
Oh man, I can get busy with Soldier 76.
Now
that's what I do.
A lot of action in that game. I was watching, some people played, and they were like, 21 kills, 17 deaths, and 4 captures or something. It seemed like a lot of action in a short amount of time.
And then if you're really good, you get what's called at the end of the match, they have something called the play of the game, and it shows a highlight flick of, like, if you get, like, Glovebox get to play the game, and they'll show a highlight of me just murking cats. it's pretty cool how they do it. It's really cool. And at the end, people vote on, like, who's the best out of the game. If you get enough votes, you get, more levels, and you get loot boxes and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Now, none of that's crossplay, right? With like PC to Xbox, it's just all Xbox to Xbox.
It's locked down right now, but I wish. I don't know.
You don't want to play. You don't want to play against PC.
Yeah,
people.
I don't want to play against PC people because they get crazy. But I've been playing that mostly, and I play some Fortnite and some PUBG. I have a friend who
Fred.
No, not friend. This dude named Jason.
Oh.
He's a cop with me, and he's a PlayStation guy, right? But I gave him my Xbox One, the other one I have, the one that works all the time. Not the X, but I gave him my other one. Yeah. And he bought PUBG, and I've been playing PUBG with him a lot. But let me tell you, man, it's still kind of buggy.
Yeah, jank.
And I know it's still in development, but it's still kind of janky.
Yeah.
But we played a lot of that too, and he loves it. He thinks that's the best thing on earth.
Yeah, they said they get over 4 million people on Xbox playing that.
Bro, I got to number 2. I just can't. I keep getting number 2.
When you get to number 2, though, how many kills you got?
Maybe 3.
Oh, so you're putting in work. You're putting in work then?
Usually I kill somebody because I walk up behind them and just cap them in the head.
Man, I wish I could play. I just get so sick. I'm going to have to make a point to, when I know I'm going to play, to really take the shit beforehand and not get...
I'm just saying, if it's making you sick, don't play it.
I know, but it's a good concept. I want to play it, and I played it the other day on PC, and it felt so good with I hadn't been back in a while, and whatever they did, it just felt good, and even on Xbox, the controller support's gotten better, so.
I wish they'd bring that second map to Xbox.
People hate that map.
Do they?
Yeah, they said there's really no, what they say with the current map, there's a good rotation, right? There's a good flow. You know where people are going to filter into and how to rotate. And they say with this new map, there's just none of that, which maybe plays into the hands of people who aren't as skilled. So maybe, for some, I'm not going to say you or Matt, but someone for me, and maybe I would benefit from that,
Yeah.
So
that's all I've been playing, man.
Cool.
And I bought my Switch to work, but I haven't taken it out yet. So,
I keep looking at the Switch store, and there's a lot of stuff on there, but I am getting a little fatigued with the ports, right? So a lot of the games that they're bringing over there I already have on some other system.
Nothing new.
I'm waiting for that. It's great for people that didn't have those games, or maybe they were just a Wii U guy or just a Nintendo guy. So those people are getting a lot of good stuff right now. But for someone like myself who had some of these codes on other systems, I'm not really finding an incentive to buy any of these, ports that are over there. So I'm waiting for that next wave of developers, getting caught up with the system, and their stuff's coming out day and date with the PS4 and Xbox stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting on. We'll see if it happens. I don't know.
Right.
All right, Matt, let's segue over to you. I know you've been playing a lot of Fortnite PvE.
I have, and so have you.
Yeah,
Seems like you've kind of caught that bug yourself there, haven't you?
Yeah. Now, Eric, are you aware when Matt gets, I wouldn't say mad, when he gets a little, you could feel it bubbling up, right?
What I did.
Discombobulated a little bit.
No, when he gets up to Mike. So the other day we had to build some contraption, right? And it was maybe my first time really trying to build some intricate curves, and I couldn't get it, and I was streaming, and I was about to rage quit, and he's like, Mike. So we've been having a good time.
Calm down, Mike. Let's hold on. Watch how I do it. Watch me. I thought I handled that pretty well. I was trying to keep you calm more than anything because I could tell you'd already say "fuck this" and throw it onto the giant Elmo fire. So it's just
it was a few seconds away from that. But yeah, I got to tell you, I went back in with no stream pressure. I built that thing in 5 minutes. Another one of those things.
So you like the PvE?
I am liking the PvE. This is Matt's segment, so he can talk more about it. Matt, why have you decided to go back in and play?
I've been watching Bounty and Chewy, and just it's something different to go back in and play, and just
is it like training.
Different. No, it's not.
It's not like training for the.
Well, for me, it's training for PvP as far as the building.
Right.
That's the
the building. Yeah, you could see that because you could practice all your building and the different shapes, everything that you can do. But, I mean, really, Mike, in PvP, when you're building something fast, and it's straight up block walls going around, stuff like that. So you're not doing the fancy curves and archways and something like that normally. And
I think this is going to pay off when we get to a situation where we got the high ground, people are down below, and I can take a little time building up there. But yes, when you're running, gunning, and you're just throwing up walls for cover, right?
Yeah. But no, the PvE, Eric, it's more like a tower defense type of game, to where you gotta find a radar satellite, or there's a balloon dropping from the sky, and you got to build defenses around it, and you got to defend it from all the husk and stuff coming. And so that's what you have to do. And the game is so deep, though, as far as skill points and squads and the loot that you give, and assigning squad members to different squads and making sure they match up, and the skill points for something else and the skill point for that, and research tiers and that. There's so much going on in the background, and there's a lot of farming of materials involved with the game. You go in, like I would go into a town, an easy level town, and I would just farm bricks and steel and wood for the next level or something like that. That way I'm not wasting the time doing it that way, or for my home base or something like that. But you have to craft everything. You have to craft your guns, your traps, stuff like that.
Yeah. And I will say, I love, the Lego games mainly because the bashing of the bricks is it feels good and it sounds good. There's something about the PvE when you go through and you press I'm playing it on the PC, and you're pressing the E button to like pick up all the stuff out of, like, whether it's trash or couches or mattresses or bookshelf. That sound it makes is very satisfying.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Kind of goes up in pitch
Just
here.
when it, like, the scrounging around sound, you know what I mean? When it's like trying to pick up stuff. It doesn't have that much of a story. There's a loose story, right? There's a storm. You got to rescue people. Yeah. I think you're eventually trying to figure out why the storm, but I'm not sure if you ever can fix it. I don't know if that's possible. It doesn't feel like it.
I think you're just expanding the safe area.
Right.
From what I've seen from getting done with quests and missions and stuff like that. It just that purple in the main map kind of gets pushed further back, type of thing.
Yeah.
I like the presentation. I've seen the presentation at the beginning, like the cartoon, like kind of with they all are in the kid and the lady, and that looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, man. I was like, wow, this is pretty dope.
I got the ninja lady now.
Ooh,
I'm not sure if you've unlocked her. She's got a nice double jump, which makes things a lot easier sometimes. Less building.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun. The PvE mode is something totally different from the battle royale, obviously, but it's still the same graphics and concept of the game and that. And I don't know what it is about Fortnite that just draws me to it. It's fun. It looks good. It's cartoony. It's not that serious. It works. It's just a fun game, and it works. And as we said in the news, they're constantly updating and putting new stuff in to celebrate holidays and stuff like that. And that's pretty freaking awesome. Like I've said before, it reminds me of World of Warcraft when they would do that stuff.
Yeah, those are the things that work. And Blizzard does that a lot. They do that with Overwatch too. And usually games that are supported like that stick around.
Yeah, right. So it's great that you have that. But yeah, I spent all day Saturday really playing that game for the most part. The PvE mode, just doing different missions and quests. And Mike jumped in a couple of times while he was at work and that, and it went very well. I think had a good time.
Yeah, it did. For me, I wanted to jump into it because I'm not crazy about spending money on skins for the PvP, and I see all these people, playing the game, and they got all these crazy skins, and I'm like, well, I need to start playing the PvE to mine some V-Bucks, so then I can flip over to PvP and then buy some of this stuff. So that's why I've been playing, and I think the more and more I've started to play it, I'm now playing it because I enjoy it, rather than just trying to mine V-Bucks.
Yeah.
We'll see how far I go with it.
Yeah, it's one of them things, something else comes out and pick it up and play for a while, something like that. But that's been my main game I've been playing this past week or so. But there's a new TV show I've been watching. It's on Netflix called Altered Carbon. And have you seen the whole thing, Eric?
No, I just saw it the trailer for it or whatever.
Okay. I'm in the first 3 episodes. The game that takes place very much in the way far future. And there's something to do with I guess they found a way to download your brain into like a chip type of thing, and so when you die, I guess when your body dies, they can take that chip out from the back of your neck and put it in someone else's body or something like that, and you can basically live forever, but you got to pay for it though. They
put it in a live person's body or a dead person's body?
I think a dead person's body. I think. I haven't figured that whole thing out yet.
So why don't they just put it back in your body? Because if you're dead, you should.
Well, I think if your body got cut in half or something like that, I guess that wouldn't work. Yeah, see, I'm not quite sure how the whole thing works yet, Eric. I'm going to probably tomorrow at work when I got a slow moment look up on Wikipedia if there's like an article about this TV show and that maybe it explains a little bit more or something. But like there's this prison thing. He was in prison, okay, and they brought him back. They were like frozen, okay, so they brought him back, and they were all in different bodies than what they went in prison first, because this one guy was in prison for 200 years. And it was weird because there's this little side piece where this little girl, she was 7, was sent to prison because she stole a car and killed somebody. So she got released from prison, but But when they released her from prison, they put her thing in the body of like a 30-year-old woman who did not look good. And so, like, her parents are there, like, wait a minute, this isn't our daughter. You put her in a freaking 30-year-old body. We wanted a 7-year-old girl. And the guy from prison was like, well, it's restitution. That is, you get what you get type of thing. So that was kind of bizarre. The whole thing's kind of weird. It's a very hard show to follow. But the good thing about it, there's a lot of nudity in it. Okay, so that's what's keeping me watching it. There's a lot of nudity, a lot of full frontal nudity too. So it's that's why I'm watching it pretty much for the most part. And the story is just kind of trying to figure that out, what's going on.
There is porn out there, bro.
So, but that's it for me though. What I've been up to.
Cool. I guess my turn. I've been actually jumped back into Fallout 4, guys. So
what?
Again, the Far Harbor. I haven't played Far Harbor yet, but the incident wiped out all my progress for Nuka-Cola. So I wanted to get back to that sort of like a baseline, and so I jumped in and got back to where I was, and now I'm ready to fire it back up and experience some new content. And I got to tell you, they've done some nice work on that game. I got it on the PS4 Pro, and they've made some adjustments, with the updates, visuals, and it is it's a good-looking game for as good as that engine can look. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So was enjoying that. Was good to get back into another shooter that wasn't Call of Duty or Fortnite. Nice to shoot some different guns.
Nice.
The last thing that I've been playing. They're going to call this the most controversial game of 2018.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't wait to hear this.
Okay. This game is called Super Seducer. Okay.
Eric, you got to go to Mike's Twitch stream and look at the video.
I deleted it.
Oh!
We'll get to that. I didn't want to leave that out there.
Because I was going to go absolutely right and go. What are you talking about?
It's the world's first seduction simulator, made by world-renowned dating coach Richard LaRunia, who's the best-selling author of The Natural: How to Effortlessly Attract the Women You Want. He was featured in Men's Health, Maxim, BBC, and with Piers Morgan. All right, so this is coming out March 6th on the PC, Mac, and PlayStation 4. Again, it's called Super Seducer. So I got a preview code that was going to walk me through the first 3 chapters. I should have read that description a little bit better before I requested the code, because simulator it hits it right on the head. So I thought this was going to be a little humorous, and there is some humorous elements to it if you have an open mind. In these days and age, you got to be careful now. So it is very much a simulator, a training video, right? So there's this woman walking down the street, and you're at one end of the street, she's at the other. And he gives you literally like 6 choices. Do you walk right in front of the woman so she can't get out of the way? Do you walk to the side of the woman? All these different choices, right? And so I'm like, well, I'm not just going to block this woman.
Right.
You guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still.
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
my power just went out for a minute there. Holy fuck.
Oh, no.
Not editing that out. That is real people. That is behind the fucking curtain type shit right there.
Breaking the fourth wall down.
Yeah. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Holy fuck. Anyways, so this woman comes down the street, and you got to make these selections. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm not just going to block her. And I'm going to walk to the sort of the side and, strike up conversation. I pick that, and, the scene plays out. Basically what happens is you start talking to the woman. Because you let her, you approach her from the side, she could quickly walk by and say no thank you and keep going. So then he comes up, he's sitting on this bed, and there's a little heart in the upper right-hand corner, and when you get an answer incorrect, the heart is broken. And he's like, why would you approach her that way? You giving her a way to go by and say, no thank you. He goes through this long list of why you shouldn't do that. So you make another selection. Clearly the option was to just walk right head on to the woman and engage in conversation. So she couldn't walk around you. So you do those types of things, and when you get it right, he eventually comes up after the scene plays out, and he's on this bed with two beautiful made-up women in scantily clad clothes on either side of him, and then he's telling you this is why you don't want to give them out. You want to engage her, look her in the eye, compliment her. You want to do all the talking. You don't want to ask her a lot of questions. Why would you ask her for a phone number? She's just going to give you a fake one. It is very much a simulator, and there's like stupid things you can do in there. He gives you the choices, but sometimes he's like, tell her you're an ass model and show her your ass, and then touch her ass. and so I'm streaming this, bro. Right? I'm streaming this, thinking it was going to be somewhat funny. But between the stop and starting of him, explaining things and the scenes, it got a little stale and sluggish. But then as you started playing this, and again, anything called Super Seducer Simulator, I know, Corey, I know you're listening to this going, really? You didn't know this beforehand? I know. But, the more you played it, I just felt so creepy. And I'm like, man, I got to get off this game. I got to get off this. This is bad. I cannot keep playing this on stream. This is really making me uncomfortable, and anybody else who's going to stumble upon this later is really going to think I'm the world's biggest a-hole. So we quickly abandoned ship and put in PvE, and that's when Matt was like, Mike.
So are you supposed to utilize any of these tactics or things that he says in the real world? Is that what it's for? Is it like a training?
Yes, it's very much like a training. So
you go and step in front of some woman, she's gonna knock you out. You doing that?
So the only way I would do this again on stream is if there's anybody out there who's artistic. If someone could come up with an overlay, like a sort of like Love Connection type thing, right? Where you could get you could put like 3 Skype cameras perfectly in. All whoever is going to do this, all of our faces in there, and sort of games show it up. If there's anybody listening who's artistic and wants to do something like that up, maybe on the BFF channel we would do this again. But it's just someone streaming there like me, it looked very sketch. It looks very sketchy. You need a if you're gonna stream this, you really need to play this up in a way that you're gonna sort of poke fun at that rather than some guy sitting there. Is this dude really taking this seriously? So it made me sketchy.
Oh man!
And that was the only.
It was funny.
It was funny for a few minutes. And then it got really weird. Then it got weird when it was like, look. One of the options was like, look up her skirt. And I was like, oh, fuck. So,
I mean, with the breaks and the action and stuff like that, with him talking, it seemed like a real training, helping device for people who have problem picking up women.
Yeah.
Was there any money back guarantees or anything with this program?
Don't know.
My buddy.
That's all I've been playing, gentlemen. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to drive right into the voicemails. So hang tight.
Operator, may I help you? Operator?
Are you the operator?
I'm long distance, sir. Overseas, may I help you? Directory assistance, may I help you, please?
Hello. Hello again. Hello. Hello again.
All right, so we're going to end this show with some listener participation. We got some voicemails. We got a listener question. And then, if there's time, we're going to have Matt's terrible topics. Matt, before we get into the voicemails, why don't you give me the phone number?
508-659-BFFS. 508-659-BFFS.
All right. This first voicemail is from Mr. Team Chaos Theory, Mark. Want to give him a quick shout out beforehand. I know it's a tough week for him. He had the memorial for his grandfather. His mother had some emergency dental procedures, so I want to give him a shout out and let him know how important he is to our community, and hope everything turns around as quickly as possible. So let's hear from Mark, Mr. Team Chaos Theory.
Hey, BFFers. Chaos. Random question or hypothetical question. I know you guys really are into NASCAR, but if you were to come in contact with a distant family member that could give you pit passes to, let's say, Talladega, we have to camp out there for the weekend, see all the races, would you still go? Remind you, pit passes are free. Probably have to pay for your way there and back and all that. But would you do it? All right. And on that, I guess I'll let you guys go. Take it easy.
All right. So all you car enthusiasts, would you take free pit passes to Talladega?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
And I ain't even into all that, but I'm into experiences and hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. I'd rather go to the Bristol race, but I'll go to Talladega.
Hell
you
no.
You give me free tickets to anything, I'm going.
Now, he says camping out. Now, I've seen aerial shots of these things, right? And camping out sometimes means staying in a motorhome, right? I'm sure that's in the pit, right? Those.
Yeah, in the infield, I guess they do it like that.
So that might not be so bad, but if he's actually talking like camping out, like somewhere else, F that. Now, what I will say is that it's got to be loud as fuck, and smell of gasoline and oil's got to be just permeating everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I would do it. Why not?
And one of those things, if I could, helicopter me in and out, like Chernobyl, like going to like Centralia, Pennsylvania, like Silent Hill, fly me in, fly me out, boom, then I'd be down. But if I actually got to fight through traffic and listen to Leonard Skinner for like 30 hours, then I'm probably not doing it.
Stuff there.
Yeah, only so many times you hear the same song. So.
Not there.
All right. Let's hear from someone else, shall we?
What's up, crew? It's your boy Vaughn, checking in once again this week. Hey, first of all, I want to give out a shout out to you guys, Mike, Eric, Jeremy, and Matt. I want to thank you guys for taking time out during your personal lives to bring us a show every week. You guys have me in stitches every week, and I just wanted to shout you guys out. Thanks a lot for doing the show. And first thing for Captain Mike, you mentioned last week about The Witcher that you can't wait for the next game, and I was wondering if you or any of the fellas got Kingdom Come Deliverance. If you've checked that game out, I heard it's supposed to be ultra realistic. The location, if you wear enough armor, things like that, you have to eat and sleep. That affects how you battle. So can you let me know how that is, if you have that or interested in it? My question for the crew today would be, what two characters would you plus? Let me clarify that for Matt. What two characters would you plus? Like Mario plus Rabbids. So for me, I would say I would love to see Nathan Drake plus Lara Croft in a game together. Give me your thoughts. Once again, thank you guys for doing what you do. It's Vaughn. I'm out. Peace.
Now, there's a guy that brings it every week, right?
He brings it every week, like he on the payroll.
Like some weeks I feel like I don't bring it. This dude brings it every freaking week.
But he brings it so good that sometimes I don't know what the hell to say. I'm like, let's see. That's crazy.
So let's tackle the first one, Kingdom Come Deliverance. So Valentine's Day just passed. My wife was trying to do something good. She went out, she got a game. She asked the guy, this is what he likes. What do you think? So she bought me a game I already had, right? So she's like, well, just get what you want, and I'll take this back. So I got this like $60, like burning a hole in my pocket, because trust me, it's one of those things. If you don't buy now, you're not going to get it. It's not like one of those things like where I got credit in the bank and I can, if I don't see something now, I can get it, a couple weeks down the road. It's like either you strike while the iron is hot or the deal gets rescinded. It's the type of world I live in, all right?
Right.
So Kingdom Come Deliverance was something I was going to bite at, and I've been, looking at some of the reviews. Some are good, some are not. I'm looking here at Polygon. Kingdom Come Deliverance is beautiful but boring. An immature, awkward thing, but not without its graces. And, you go on to read, and the guy says it's very mundane. It's got some of the worst, writing that they've ever seen. So, I don't know if I want to drop 60 bones on this or not, I see a lot of people playing it on Twitch and stuff. It looks good, but they're saying it's more farming simulator than Witcher 3. So it's really like in the real like mundane of that time period, you know what I mean? A lot of like, in The Witcher you had to go out and slay some, someone had a cursed house and you had to go find the goblin gook and do something to it, right?
Yep.
And this, it's like, you owe like, a day's worth of pay to this guy. You can either go over there and work for him for a day, or you can beat the crap out of him and, take your pay, So, I don't know. I'm on the fence. It's an interesting concept. Maybe if the price comes down. But like I said, I got to strike while the iron's hot. So if anybody's listening and says, Mike, these are the games you should get for $60. It doesn't have to be one game. Maybe it's a fistful of games for $60. Well, let me know quickly.
Or Mike, why don't you just get a gift card and say, I just put that in the wallet and hold on to it.
I could. That's a good idea. I was thinking. I could pre-order something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. His question.
Second part of his question.
What characters would you plus? So he said Nathan Drake and Lara Croft. So that's certainly a dynamic duo there that makes sense. So Eric, do you have any sort of answer for him there?
But these have already been plus like that though. So I was gonna say Mario and Sonic, but they've already been.
That's a tough question, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying.
If anything off the top of your head that that you say, geez, if these two worlds collided, these two
would be like powerful monsters to
like,
get
do they have
like
do they have to be like plus though? Like they have to work in tandem, or can they work against each other? You know what I mean? Because what, Batman and the Joker are a great duo, but they're not on the same side. So could you have Lara Croft and Nathan Drake not researching the thing together? They're trying to, first one there gets it, type deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. That help.
I'm gonna have to let us think on that one. Because I can't.
I'm kind of thinking. We just talked about Witcher 3, like Geralt and the dude from Fable 3. The guy, the main character from the Fable series. Those two guys questing together.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Something like that, or Geralt and Zelda or something like that. Kind of going out and questing together.
You mean Link?
Yeah, sorry, Link. Yeah. Or, oh man, I had one in my mind too. Another one.
What like a DC Marvel mashup? You get Spider-Man games very popular, and Batman games are very popular. You could have Batman and Spider-Man team up, or they could be adversaries.
Yeah. Master Chief and frickin' what's her name from Horizon Zero Dawn. Two totally different genres and mixtures in worlds and stuff teaming up together, something like that. Yeah,
that's something I'm gonna sit on. I think just to give you an answer this week, I'd say let's see a Batman Spider-Man mashup, and someone else out there can dictate if they're on the same side or not. But I'm gonna think about that more because I feel like I have a better answer out there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I gotta think about it.
So we're gonna get back to you on that, Vaughn. But those are our early answers. Don't hold us to those ones. Great question, though. If anybody else wants to chime in, certainly give us a call. What's the number, Matt, again?
It is 508-659-BFFS. 508-659-BFFS.
So if anybody out there hears Vaughn's questions on a weekly basis and they want to chime in and share their answer, they can certainly call.
Absolutely.
They can get us on Twitter or wherever else. And I think we have one more voicemail, gentlemen.
Bad figures. What is up, gentlemen? Here we are once again. Another show, another week, and another phone call from the one, the only, Double F.
Double F.
Gentlemen, I come to you this week with a question. A question of questions of the question because I'm a bit puzzled.
Oh.
I've been messing around with the Switch. I know not everybody on the show has a Switch, but I still think everybody could have some input on this anyway. So stay with me here. Don't give up on my question yet. I've been playing on the Switch. Game I've been playing is Splatoon. And people are telling me that the motion controls is where it's at. Not to go and turn the motion controls off and use the analog sticks, but to stick it out and get used to the motion controls because that is where it is happening. That is the future. So that is my question, gentlemen. Do you see this motion control thing catching on? And eventually Xbox and PlayStation really diving more into this motion control stuff? I gotta say, I tried it out. I probably should have played it longer than I did. I went with it for 4 or 5, maybe 6 rounds, and I said, I don't know, it's just bothered me. I turned it off. I went back to just using the control sticks there, and I don't know, once I turned it off, I kind of missed it. I kind of thought, well, yeah, I could kind of see where it is, but it's something that you really have to stick with and go through those growing pains to get through it. Just wondering, gentlemen, if you think this is something that maybe, this is the future, this motion out. And this isn't Wii motion control for anybody listening to this that doesn't have a Switch. This is way advanced to that. So I'm just wondering if we're looking at the future, gentlemen. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Great show. I hope everyone has a great week. And arrivederci.
All right, Fred. I'm the wrong guy with motion controls because, a slight breeze makes me nauseous. But I will say I've tried Splatoon with the motion controls, and it is better this time around than it was before. Obviously, the Switch is much better than the Wii U. I still prefer it turned off. I will say, though, the rumble pad, the motion, everything that's built into the Switch is top-notch. It's fantastic. So if it's going to continue and it's going to be successful, this has got to be the building block. They can't take a step backwards in this. It's got to be this and going forward.
I think motion control, I'm with you on that. I'm not too, locked into the motion control, but like you say, it's better on the Switch. But I see something as motion controls translating for VR more so.
Yes.
Right.
Because it's more interactive. Just moving your hands and making something happen on the screen. It's I don't know if it translates as good, but
now when you play,
I go back too. Go ahead.
When you play VR with the controller, do you feel the experience is less?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right off the break. If I have just a DualShock controller, I don't get as much satisfaction out of it as when I have the 2 Move controllers because you can, it's a different kind of experience. And even like with the aim controller when I'm playing a shooting game, the DualShock controller does not convey a gun. I'm sorry, but when you got that piece of plastic that it feels like a gun and you look down in VR and it looks like a gun, man, it's a gun, man. So.
Yep, I agree with Eric. I think motion control is going to be moving more towards the VR stuff. Sony had the Move controllers, which didn't do much. Xbox had the Kinect, which was discontinued. Nintendo had the Wii, which they've morphed on to the Switch and stuff like that. So yeah, it's motion control is kind of going away, except for VR stuff, in my opinion.
And like with Jeremy's controller that he has on his VR, it's like ridiculous. I'm sure he would, agree. It's ridiculous on that.
All right. Well, great questions, and thanks for the voicemails, everybody. Don't be shy out there. If you too feel like you want to call in, you can do so. You want to give out the number one more time, Matt?
One more time, 508-659-BFFS, 508-659-BFFS.
Yeah, I'd like to hear back from that one guy who called last week. Was Prime? What was his name?
Yeah, yep.
Maximus Prime.
Maximus Prime. He was asking about his wife. I wanted to see how that worked out for him.
Well, he's on Twitter, and he responded.
I'm going to hit him up.
He corresponded back to us and said he 100% agreed, and he's going to be making steps to get back into it.
Cool.
All right, so Valentine's Day just passed, and I'm not sure if this question is really Valentine's related, but I think anytime I hear from the Mafias, I think of love. There's so much love between the two.
Especially Latina, with a name like Latina Mafia. That's just a feeling of love.
So Mafia hit us up and says, what is your guys' one specialty dish that you make that is a big hit with the family and friends? Can be anything. Mine is oatmeal raisin cookies, and then I think he responded a little back later and said ribs. So ribs, he's not serving us all at once. 2 different meals, hopefully. Oatmeal raisin cookies and ribs.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, the dish I serve best is cold. Matt, how about you? What do you do you make anything, Matt? Do you cook at all besides the fry later or whatever?
I do cook. I do cook. I cook many things. A couple weeks ago, I made some nice fried chicken parmesan, or I actually fried the chicken myself and everything. That turned out excellent. But something I make that's constantly a hit around the house is I make a breakfast casserole every once in a while. And it's eggs, fake bacon, cheese, green pepper, and onion in it. And, man, it is delicious. And I can eat it throughout the rest of the week, and the kids eat it, and the wife eats it, and everyone likes it. There's that. And then I also make a pretty good baked ziti, which isn't too bad itself. That's also another dish that comes out pretty good.
That's cool.
I do enjoy cooking, but I don't cook that much, though. I do like it.
What about you, Eric? Are you a cook?
Yeah, man, I'm a great cook. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Let me tell you the story real quick.
Let me tell you something, bro.
Let me tell you something, bro.
So I'm black, right?
What? What?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Wait.
shit. Okay, so African American, all of that, right? Exactly. So, my wife is white, right, and her whole side of the family is white, right? So, I'll cook, right, and they'll be like, "Yo, that shit is delicious. What is that?" So, I made.
Don't say.
I'm not gonna say chicken. I'm not gonna say chicken. Listen, I made some.
Don't say plantain.
I made some. No.
Grits.
I made some greens one time, right? Just some collard greens, right? And my wife and her family lost their mind, bro. So now, if I ever make collard greens, my wife is like, "Look, that's all I want. And she'll just eat nothing but a plate of greens, bro."
I don't even know what they are. What are these things?
I've
obviously heard of
green.
it.
See, y'all are white just like my wife. but I make these
truth
greens,
bomb.
bro. I know, right? And I make these greens, and she just thinks it's the world. Because you ever had, they're collard greens, but my wife used to eat them in a can, right?
But what are
these? Are these like I can go if I go to some farm, I can just pick these out of the ground, or are they just to mash up with something?
See, I got to cook for y'all.
So I go to the farm. I go to the farm. I want some
and say, hey, you go to the store. Say, where are your collard greens? Type it in the internet. It'll show you what they are. It's freaking greens.
Why are they collared? It's like a shirt. Why are they collared?
I didn't say colored. I said collared.
Collared. That's what I'm saying. Collared, like a shirt collar.
Boston Mike. But look, I'm sitting here. And I cook these greens, and she's like, "What in the hell is this?" And she just goes nuts, bro. I don't understand it, but
Mike,
I'm on Wikipedia, and I can't even get by the first sentence.
COLL. Look, COLLARD.
We know how it's spelled. Yes, thank you.
Describe certain loose-leaf cultivars of Brassica oleracea. The same species has many common vegetables, including cabbage, broccoli. Collard greens are part of the Acephala group of the species, which includes kale.
They're part of the delicious group, and they're delicious. And I guess I make them. Fantastic.
I'm just going to rubber stamp it that Eric is the cook of the show.
Eric can make collard greens. He's the cook.
He's the security / chef.
I can cook anything, to be honest with you. I'll cook whatever my wife wants. I'll cook it. And she's like, "Geez, Louise."
Oh, yeah. There it is.
There it is. In the flesh. I'm not that good of a cook. I am very, very, very basic cook.
Well, you can make pizza.
Yeah, with the new oven I have, I've made a lot of pizzas.
Just don't get it stuck.
No, this oven's not going to get stuck anytime soon.
You better not. Oh,
Unless the power goes again. Why the hell did the power just go out a little while ago? So weird.
I don't know.
Well, I don't
Lucky
know if
we're
it was
still here.
maybe it was just a lamp went out. Like the lamp turned off and on itself.
Place haunted?
The ghost of Jeremy. Jeremy's here.
The ghost of Jeremy.
There you go.
Matt, are you ready to go, sir?
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, you got these fired up and ready?
Yeah, I need to hear that opening.
Let's
I got
do
plenty of stories, but I'm only going to cut it down to 2.
Cool.
Might be women of the night walking around, broadcasting out their anuses. Like 70s Harry.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that. Burn it up. I'm right down to the fucking fan. Adult toys, sex crime or sexual assault, vaginas. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, who's got the GPS on the rub and tug?
So, Mike?
Yes.
One question for you before I start here. Am I still banned from talking about genital mutilation?
Last time I took, yes, but I have a story about genital mutilation as well. Maybe you go first because maybe it's the same story.
So I think I just got the okay to talk about this. And man has testicles chopped off after being lured into a sex game by a jealous girlfriend. We had something similar to this a couple weeks ago, but this is a new one here. Shizana Nerzervona, 36, allegedly used a scalpel to remove her boyfriend, Arsulimanov's. I can't even say his fucking name.
What the hell was that?
Arsulimanov genitals after he confessed to his sister that he was attracted to another woman.
Where is this? In Florida or Ohio?
I think this is overseas.
Fucking drunk.
When she looked on his phone, she is said to have found pictures of other women. It is claimed that she lured him into a sex game before sedating him and chopping off his testicles. A leaked court paper said, she offered to play a sex game and tied his legs and arms with 4 scars. Then she took out 2 pills, allegedly barbiturates, and forced them into the man's mouth. At about 2 a.m., she pulled off his underwear and started accusing him in being in close contact with another woman. She beat his head, face, and chest with an aluminum stick. Then she took 3 ampoules of anesthetic and a syringe and injected it all around the man's groin. So at least she had that type of courtesy to do that.
Her first name's Negan.
Yeah. Next, she took a scalpel and started to make incisions, cutting the left testicle and tying a spermatic cord with a thread. She cut off his right testicle and stitched a cut, but a thread slid off. The man started bleeding. Then she took him to the hospital. If found guilty, she could be jailed for up to 10 years.
But Eric just told us earlier there's no repercussions.
You ain't lying.
Luckily, the victim is thought to be able to still have sex in the future. So he's okay to continue on with doing stuff in the future there.
What's the point?
Boy.
Beat the shit out of him. Mike, do you want to go with your story before I move to my next one here?
Yeah, so Valagas tweeted this out today, our buddy Sam. College guy brings girl back to his crib. His roommate texts college guy's girlfriend to tell her he's cheating. College guy tries to rip off roommate's balls for his betrayal.
Oh,
that's the that's the subject, the sub headline. So Ryan Leander of somewhere in Delaware was charged after the incident, which occurred at 3:10 a.m. in an apartment at such and such address. Merritt and his roommate Luke got into an altercation after Luke texted Merritt's girlfriend. Merritt was allegedly upset that Luke contacted his girlfriend. Police say he went into Luke's bedroom, knocked on the door. Luke refused to open and attempted to close the door on him. The confrontation turned physical. Luke told the police that Merritt punched him, scratched him, and grabbed him by the testicles, which immobilized him. He then placed Luke in a chokehold and bit him in the arm.
Ooh.
Snitches get stitches.
Wow. Damn. All right. Man, a couple of stories about testicles being ripped off there. We're going to get it. We're going to hear it this week.
Yep.
I've got 3 stories here, but I'm going to let you guys choose. So I'm going to say 3 words, and you guys can choose which article I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm going to say spicy, or men, or Paris.
I think you gotta go spicy. You gotta go spicy.
Spicy?
Let's hear spicy.
Let's go with spicy here, because Mike likes it spicy and Eric likes it spicy.
No, I don't like it.
Oh, well, you're going to like it spicy now, bud. You chose it. It says here, dare you try the world's most dangerous ice cream that you have to sign a disclaimer to eat. The dish, dubbed Breath of the Devil, is 500 times hotter than Tabasco sauce and requires gloves to handle. Now, this is an ice cream that they're talking about here. A Glasgow cafe is dishing out scoops of the insanely spicy dessert named Raspberry del Diavolo, Breath of the Devil, especially for Valentine's Day. But the frozen treat is so spicy that customers must be 18 years of age and sign a legal waiver before it's handed over the counter. The disclaimer says that eating the ice cream could be a risk of personal injury, illness, and possible loss of life. And the staff at the cafe where it's served at even need to wear gloves when they dish out the scoops. Customers must sign a waiver, of course, before eating. There's some pictures of the ice cream there in the article there. The handmade treat comes in a whopping 1,569,300 SHU on a Scoville scale. And that's a measurement of chili peppers, how hot they get, okay? It means ice cream is 500 times hotter than Tabasco sauce. The family business in Glasgow says the idea behind it came from Italy. Lee Brandoni, 38, brother of calf owner Martin, told the Daily Record it started in Italy. There was a place called Devil's Bridge, and with that, the Italian ice cream families used to meet up once a year and discuss how the year went for them. At that point, if there were any men that showed bravery, they would eat this ice cream. So because of the Devil's Bridge, they call it the Breath of the Devil. So it's a very, very spicy ice cream there.
Bro, that's like an oxymoron. That's like an oxymoron.
I know.
Ice cream and spicy. That doesn't work.
That would really fuck with your brain trying to eat that, because you think it'd be cold, and your brain, and the way it looks, if you guys click on the article, the way it looks, it's like a nice pinkish color, so it looks like I don't know, like a watermelon flavored ice cream or strawberry or cherry or something like that. And it looks very cool and relaxing, but man, once it hits your tongue, your brain's going to fucking go into meltdown because it's so freaking hot.
No way, no how.
No way. Do you like hot food? Hot food, Eric?
Not at all.
Yeah, Mike, what about you? You like things spicy, don't you?
Oh, I really like hot food, but my digestive system does not.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I seek out spicy food just because it's spicy. I mean, I like burritos. I like spicy chicken wings, ribs, sausages, things like that are spicy.
Sure.
But sometimes I can really pay the price. Thus, the hefty bag situation.
That's the best story. How do you do with dairy? So I can't do dairy. I can't do ice cream and all that.
The only dairy thing that's crept up, I haven't had a lot of milk in a long time. I'm not a huge milk guy anymore. I probably should. It's good for your bones, right?
I guess.
I haven't had, I'm not a regular milk drinker, so sometimes if I have like a big glass of milk, yeah, I can feel some rumbling. But I have
bubble guts.
But I like regularly eat like yogurt and ice cream and stuff. I don't have any issues with those.
Yeah, your probiotics get them.
Well, anything else, Matt?
Food.
You do?
I do, but not so spicy where I can't actually taste the food in that, or if I start to sweat in that.
Well, here's a little precursor to what's going to happen one of these days. We're going to have a segment called Matt Goes Sour.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Matt is going to go out, and Eric, you can participate in this too if you want.
Oh, yes, please.
And Jeremy, if you're listening, you can as well. I encourage you all to go out to your local, liquor store, supermarket, wherever they sell beer, and go out and get yourself a sour beer. And we'll try to rekindle some of that 40 cast magic, and we'll all discuss the sour beer that we've purchased. Now, one of my favorites is called the Sea Quench Session Sour by Dogfish Head, but there's many sours out there. You don't have to get this one. You can get whatever you want. And we're going to call it Matt Goes Sour.
Yep. We'll start next week.
All right. So you heard it.
I'll make it happen.
Nice. Yep. Anything else this week, gentlemen? We touched all the bases.
That is it for me.
That's it.
All right, good show, gentlemen. Let's get in those plugs so Matt can go tuck himself in. And this is a callback from last week. Get situated. Why don't you go first, Matt?
Shout out all the listeners, everyone calling in with the voicemails and stuff like that, and answering the questions, and people participating in the Discord and that. Very much appreciated when people get involved in that. It makes it a lot more fun to do this with people's involvement. So, and big shout out to Eric for sending me a video of his new police ride. That was awesome.
That's hilarious.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, let me shout out you guys, man. Shout out Jeremy. Jeremy, you are missed, sir. Get back on.
Yes, sir.
Get situated and get back on the mic.
He's worn out. I'm telling you, he's worn out.
I know.
It takes one of
shout out everybody that listens, especially Double F and Vaughn, man. They come with it every week, and
yeah, they do.
We appreciate that. And Vaughn, we're gonna get back with you next week about that one question. But yeah, other than that, hey, it's all good, bro.
All right. Yes, let's give a shout out to Jeremy. He is missed. I was looking forward to his answer about the whole school shooting, and I know he's, like any dad should be, involved with their children, so he's very involved. So I was curious what his take was. I don't know if you knew that, but he had a dad's podcast at one time. Not sure if you're aware of that.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. It didn't do so well. Kind of ended abruptly. Let's see. Shout out to everybody else just that participates, everybody that downloads every week, everybody that interacts with us, and so on and so forth. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to all the insightful questions each week from Vaughn and Double F and things like that. That's really what it's about. We're trying to build a community here and be good to each other and be friends. We can have different opinions, but we can still be friends about it, right? So that's what we're after here. So this has been episode 17. Now remember, at the top of the show, we mentioned something about a scavenger hunt. So hopefully you were listening and taking some notes or mental notes, because we will be, announcing what the questions are in the coming weeks. And again, the prize pack right now is looking like a PUBG code for the Xbox One. Maybe some other game codes, a full game, gift card, things of that nature. It's going to be a good prize. You want to get involved. Tell your friends, get them to start listening as well, and we will keep you abreast of the questions in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we will make it worthwhile to spend your time here listening to the show with a nice prize pack.
Nice.
That's right.
All right. So without further ado, see ya.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Perfect for tonight's
exactly.
show there at the end.